And Terah took his son Abram and his grandson Lot, the son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, his son Abram's wife, and they went out with them from Ur of the Chaldeans to go to the land of Canaan. And they came to Haran and dwelt there. So the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah was unalived in Haran. Genesis chapter 11, verse 31 through 32, exegesis. Terah's partial obedience and pause in Haran, because he was supposed to go to Canaan, but he stopped in Haran. There is great significance in this. Terah's journey from Ur of the Chaldeans toward Canaan signifies the initial step of separation from idolatry, because in the land of Ur was great idolatry. Nimrod had rise to power, a mighty hunter in opposition against Yahweh, and he had established the false and pseudo doctrine of Babylon. So, yet notice that he stopped in Haran. So he left, the text says that he left to go to Canaan. He took Abram, he took Lot, he took Sarai on the way to Canaan, although he stopped in Haran. That is our key point and the point of significance. Genesis chapter 11, verse 31. And they came to Haran and dwelt there. This demonstrates partial obedience, a pause short of full surrender. Haran represents the place of delay, the halfway point between Babylon and the promised land. Genesis chapter 11, verse 32. So the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah was unalived in Haran. He wasn't unalived in Canaan. He was unalived in Haran. And the Bible makes note of that because it wants to make note that he did not finish what he ultimately set out to do. Terah's unalivement in Haran shows that many begin a journey of faith yet fail to continue fully into Yahweh's promise because of comfort, compromise, or attachment to the familiar. Luke chapter 9, verse 62. No one having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh. Coming out of Babylon but not yet reaching Zion. Ur of the Chaldeans represents Babylon because that's where Nimrod and the story of Nimrod, Tammuz, and Semiramis, and the establishment of the doctrine of Babylon in opposition of Yahweh, the system of idolatry, false worship, astrology, moon worship, sun worship, and also human pride, because all of that is satanic, and Satan is the father of pride, and all of the children thereof. So Canaan represents the covenant, promise, and eternal inheritance. Haran stands in between, symbolizing the professed believer who leaves the world but does not yet walk fully in faith. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 14 through 16. For those who say such things declare plainly that they seek a homeland, New Jerusalem, the heavenly kingdom with Yahweh Elohim. And truly, if they had called to mind that country from which they had come out from Babylon, they would have had opportunity to return to Babylon. But now they desire a better, that is, a heavenly country, New Jerusalem. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 14 through 16. In the prophetic sense, this mirrors the end-time experience of Yahweh's people, called to leave spiritual Babylon. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. But tempted to remain in Haran, a place of spiritual complacency, letting that which is external get to the heart and mind, as opposed to letting that which is internal getting to the heart and mind. Like Yeshua said, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasure in heaven where moth and rust cannot destroy and where thieves cannot break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So after Terah's unalivement, the call of Yahweh comes directly to Abraham in Genesis 12, 1 through 3. His son. Genesis chapter 12, 1 through 3. Now the Lord has said to Abraham, which we're going to get into. Right now we're not there, but we're going to get into it. We're just covering it a little bit. Now the Lord said to Abraham, get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. Once again, Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. This shift marks the divine transition from human leadership, Terah, to divine calling, Abraham. Where Terah stopped, Abraham continued, proving that true faith always moves forward when Yahweh calls. Auntie Ellen G. White, made commentary on this. I want to elaborate. Many are still halting halfway. They have left Ur, but they linger in Haran. They do not press on to the land of promise. Yahweh calls them to go forward, to renounce every idol, and to walk by faith. The faith that distinguished Abraham must be ours if we are to share the blessing of the covenant. EGW Patriarchs and Prophets, page 126 through 127. Just as Abraham was called out from Ur, the last day remnant, the last day loipos, are called out from Babylon. Not halfway obedience, but full consecration. Terah's journey reminds us that Yahweh begins his work even in the imperfect. Though Terah stopped short, Yahweh continued his plan through Abraham. Your past hesitation doesn't cancel your future calling. One more time. Your past hesitation doesn't cancel your future calling. Philippians chapter 1 verse 6. Being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Yeshua the Messiah. Philippians chapter 1 verse 6. Even if you've lingered in your own Haran, a symbolic representation of being stagnant and not finishing what Yahweh has told you to do, God's cause still stands. God's call still stands. Go forward. Leave the half-finished journey behind and walk by faith into his full promise. 2 Corinthians 5:7, a very familiar verse. For we walk by faith, not by sight. Genesis chapter 11, verse 31 through 32, exegesis. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that.